Now, history from the Northeast that would have a profound effect on the western frontier. The year is 1873, and two powerhouse companies in Connecticut are about to make firearms history and American frontier history. The first was Colt's Patent Manufacturing in Hartford. Sam was long dead, with the company being directed by his widow, Elizabeth. And the news was the single-action Army model of 1873. The same year, in New Haven, Connecticut, Oliver Winchester's company introduced the model 1873 lever-action rifle. And both companies introduced new centerfire cartridges for their new firearms. For Colt, it was the .45 Colt. Don't say long Colt, that happens later. The .45 Colt had a 255-grain lead bullet over 40 grains of black powder, and it was centerfire with a primer. The Army shortly adopted both the revolver and the cartridge as the primary sidearm for the expansion west. Now, at Winchester, the new round for the new rifle was the .4440 Winchester Centerfire, also one of the first to use a primer, also with 40 grains of black powder, but with a slightly smaller and lighter bullet, 212 grains of lead in .44 caliber. And there was one other significant difference, the cannelure, the groove pressed into the case that is a bullet stop. The reason was the tube magazine on the 73. That recoil with each shot could hammer the stack of rounds and could force the bullets deeper into the case if not restricted by the cannelure groove. There are two dangers in that. Compressing the powder in the case can create greater pressure, and there can be feeding problems if the cartridges get shorter from the recoil. There was one other danger in the tube magazine Winchester, that the recoil could set off a cartridge in the magazine if the bullets could hit a primer in the stack. So the .4440 had to have flat-faced, blunt bullets, and primers had to be seated deep in the cases. Cowboy action shooters, you paying attention? Oh, here's one more warning. If you're shooting a Henry Big Boy that loads from the front of the tube like the original Henry rifle, load at an angle to ease the rounds down the tube. If you stand the rifle on its butt and let the cartridges hammer down the tube, you are asking for an explosion. By the way, it would not be until 2006 that Hornady figured out how to clean up the aerodynamics of the flat-faced bullets with lever revolution rounds for tube magazines with a soft polymer tip that would not set off a primer. All right, now back to the late 1800s, and Colt would chamber their Peacemaker for .4440 Winchester to allow a pioneer to use the same ammo in his revolver and rifle. Winchester never chambered their rifle in .45 Colt because Elizabeth Colt wouldn't allow it, and Colt held the patent on the cartridge. So what was the cartridge that won the West? Well, there's a strong case here. It was the .4440 Winchester Centerfire, chambered in both the single-action Army and the model of '73.